hence the start of the Senior Citizen Shared Ride Program, which is one of our major services. You have to be 65, although the average age of our rider is 80. And we actually have some individuals who use our service who are over 90 years old, and even have individuals who are 100 years old. In fact, our oldest rider is 106. So we provided last year around 200,000 trips for this group of people, and 21,000 of those trips were for people over the age of 90. The major purposes that people use our service for, and this comes to the person's home. It's small vehicles. Our largest vehicle is 15 passengers. We have a lot of smaller vehicles as well. It's a shared ride program, which means that you must pre-register and you must make an advance reservation, and you must you must know that you have to share the vehicle with other people. We only require that you call the day before, but you can make a reservation up to 2 weeks in advance. The fares range. The senior, because of the funding from the subsidy from the state lottery, only pays 15% of the fare, and it's based on distance. So individuals pay anywhere from $3 to $7.50 each way. And we also provide another program which is funded by PennDOT as well, and this comes out of Act 89, and that's called the Persons with Disabilities Program. And this is for people who are 18 to 64. Last year we provided 17,000 trips, so it's a much smaller program. But the premise, the way the program operates is similar to the way the Senior Citizen Program operates, in that you have to pre-register and you have to pay 15% of the fare. 70% of our riders under that program use it to go to work. So these are individuals who are disabled, who can't use SEPTA's CCT program or don't live in the area where that service is available, and they can't take public transit. So, this enables people who have a disability to be productive members of society. So it's really a very valuable service. The other publicly funded service that we provide is the Medical Assistance Transportation Program, and this is specifically for people who are low income on Medicaid and who are going to a Medicaid funded medical service. And a lot of the same parameters, but there's more flexibility because we can take people longer distances if they're going to a specialist and that type of thing. And last year we provided 90,000 trips under that program. And there's no copay. That's totally subsidized through medical assistance. So those are just a few of the services we provide. We do operate some CNG vehicles in our fleet. That's a new thing that we started this year, where we have alternative fuel compressed natural gas vehicles. We have 10 right now. We'll have 5 more this year. And so that's been something that we've been making an effort to help our environment with emissions. There is information over on the table about how to register for any of these services. Please take some of our information, especially if you know someone who might be able to use either a senior citizen or a person who's disabled who might be able to use some of our services. We are trying to do more marketing and make sure people are aware of what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you can see what a great service that all 3 of you are providing to the county and improving our quality of life and whatever part of our life we're in and whatever lifestyle we have. So now I'd like to introduce Kathy Pop McDonough. She's the Director of Capital Budget and Grant Development at SEPTA. And Kathy has been working very hard over the last few months on the capital budget and this 12-year program. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Jody. Good evening, everyone. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to acknowledge the SEPTA officials that are in attendance today. First, a Montgomery County SEPTA board member, Robert Fox, is in attendance. Our Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, Rich Burnfield, is here. Assistant General Manager of Engineering, Maintenance, and Construction, Bob Lund. Manager of Capital Budgets, John Dooner. And Manager of Long Range Planning, Liz Smith. This next slide shows a map, and it's one of our display boards as well, and it illustrates SEPTA service in Montgomery County. Just some facts: we have 6 regional rail lines that serve the county. Over 40 regional rail stations serve Montgomery County commuters. The Norristown High-Speed Line provides service to 7 stations in the county. There are over 45 SEPTA bus routes that operate in the county and 1,927 bus stops. Bet you didn't know that. This next slide is a brief overview of State Act 89, which plays such an important role on our capital budget last year and moving forward, and we're very excited about having this additional funding in our program. State Act 89 was signed into law in November of 2013. This legislation provides funding for all modes of transportation, including public transportation, highways, bridges, bicycles, pedestrians, and multimodal transportation in Pennsylvania. Act 89 provides a long-term funding solution. Funding is predictable, bondable, and inflation indexed, and this increase in state funding will nearly double SEPTA's annual capital budget by fiscal year 2018. This chart shows SEPTA's capital budget funding history since fiscal year 2011. In the years prior to fiscal year 2015, SEPTA's capital budget totaled $300 million annually, the lowest level of funding since 1997. As a result of Act 89, the fiscal year 2000 capital budget nearly doubled to $571 million. But this amount did include a one-time infusion of special funding in that fiscal year. But for fiscal year 2016 and beyond, annual capital funding will be in excess of $500 million. The fiscal 2016 capital budget proposal totals $534.54 million. This chart provides a split of forecasted federal, state, and local funding. 61% of the budget is forecast to be provided by the state, 37% from federal sources, and 2% from local government sources, including the 4 counties of Bucks, Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery, as well as the city of Philadelphia. You can look at this chart in a different way. For every $2 of local funding, $98 is provided by state and federal sources. SEPTA's fiscal year 2016 capital budget includes 12 capital programs and financial obligations such as debt service and leases. In the next few minutes, I will be presenting highlights from this program of projects as they relate to Montgomery County. The SEPTA system includes over 350 bridges. The average age is in excess of 85 years, with 155 bridges over 100 years old. The bridge program will restore SEPTA bridges to a state of good repair. Rehabilitation and replacement of bridges on rail lines and SEPTA right-of-ways will include culverts, pedestrian bridges, and associated bridge structures. The rehabilitation of 4 regional rail stone arch bridges located in the county is programmed for funding in the capital budget. And these include, I love these pictures, Bridge 12.38, which carries the West Trenton line over Meadowbrook between Noble and Rydell stations. This bridge was built in 1876. You don't see these as you're riding the trains to and from. Bridge 1310, which carries the Lansdale-Doylestown line over a stream just north of North Hill Station. This bridge was built in 1902. Bridge 2293, which carries the Lansdale-Doylestown line over Wissahickon Creek between North Wales and Pembroke stations, was built in 1903. And Bridge 16.88, which carries the Manayunk-Norristown Regional Rail Line over Sawmill Run, which is just south of the Norristown Transportation Center, was built in 1934. Also programmed for rehabilitation is the Bridgeport Viaduct, which carries the Norristown High-Speed Line from the Norristown Transportation Center over the Schuylkill River to Bridgeport Station. Now, the timbers on this bridge were replaced in 2013, and the remainder of the bridge under this program will be rehabilitated. And this bridge was constructed in 1911. The Communication Signal Systems and Technology Program provides improvements to SEPTA's communication systems, modernization of our signal systems, the upgrading of hardware and software, and the replacement of equipment that has reached or exceeded its useful life. Rail signal modernization projects such as the Norristown Automatic Train Control Project will improve operational flexibility and enhance service quality. The Federal Railway Safety Act of 2008 mandates that a positive train control system be in place by December 31st, 2015 on all commuter regional rail lines in the country. SEPTA is on target to reach this deadline. SEPTA will install and upgrade public communication systems at railroad and transit stations, including real-time and audiovisual public address information. The Maintenance, Transportation Shops and Offices program provides for improvements to SEPTA's bus and rail maintenance shops, facilities, and office buildings. Funds have been programmed for improvements at the Frontier Division bus facility, which is located in Plymouth Township. Improvements include a new roof, new vehicle washer, and the rehabilitation of the apron paving. The SEPTA Key new payment project will modernize SEPTA's antiquated fare payment and collection system by offering riders a variety of payment choices to suit their travel needs. The SEPTA Key system will be implemented in phases. Phase 1, which is complete, included the design of the project, deployment of the data network backbone of the transit system, and an advanced pilot test of the SEPTA Key system. Phase 2, which is underway, includes the deployment of the SEPTA Key system on buses, trolleys, and rail transit fleets. Phase 3 includes the regional rail, parking operations, and customized community transportation segments. And this slide shows an example of the SEPTA Key fare lines that will be constructed at the Center City rail stations. The Stations and Parking Improvement Program provides for the reconstruction or rehabilitation of transit and regional rail stations and terminals, transportation centers, bicycle facilities, and parking expansions and improvements. These projects potentially provide opportunities for public-private partnerships. All improvements fully comply with the requirements of Americans with Disabilities Act. Montgomery County station and parking expansion projects programmed in the capital budget are shown on the following slides. SEPTA, Lower Merion Township, PennDOT, and Amtrak are partners to the Ardmore Station Improvement Project. This project will provide for the construction of a fully accessible station with high-level platforms, tunnel accessibility improvements, elevators, and a new station building. A subsequent phase of the project will include construction of a multi-level parking garage and bus circulation and pedestrian access improvements at the Ardmore's train station. Funds have been programmed for the Jenkintown Wyncote Station. Improvements will be made to the station building and tunnel, and high-level platforms will be constructed. In addition to these stations, SEPTA has included improvements to Conshohocken, Noble, Philmont, and Willow Grove stations in the capital program. There are currently over 7,200 regional rail parking spaces in Montgomery County, and most of these lots are at full utilization. Several regional rail parking expansions in the county are programmed for funding. These projects will add approximately 700 new parking spaces at SEPTA stations in the county. SEPTA will construct a parking garage at the Lansdale train station. In addition, a pedestrian bridge will be constructed in order to increase multimodal circulation and supports economic development initiatives in this area. This project is being advanced in partnership with the Borough of Lansdale and PennDOT. To address commuter parking demands in the area, additional parking and a new station will be constructed north of Lansdale Station at 9th Street. Parking expansion at North Wales Station will add approximately 74 new spaces to the existing 418 space lot. Parking expansion at Gwinnett Valley Station will add approximately 60 spaces to the existing 118 space lot. In addition, SEPTA has entered into a public-private partnership for the construction of a 95 to 100 space parking lot near the outbound side of Colmore Station, and that will increase parking at that station to approximately 386 to 391 parking spaces. SEPTA is kicking off a multi-year program to install bike shelters and racks throughout the SEPTA system. Funds have been allocated to this effort at SEPTA regional rail stations beginning in fiscal year 2015. Substations and power. SEPTA's railroad and transit substations were built in the 1920s and 30s. In order to bring these substations up to modern standards of reliability and performance, they must be overhauled or replaced. The replacement of the Jenkintown substation, which was built in 1931, is underway. The overhaul of 4 other SEPTA substations located in the county are programmed in the capital budget, and these include Ambler, Beth Ayres, Hatboro, and Lansdale. Each of these substations is over 80 years old. SEPTA operates rail service over 359 miles of track. Projects within the track and right-of-way program are designed to return the rail infrastructure to a state of good repair and help preserve the rail transit service for current and future customers. Under this program, ties and timbers along the Norristown high-speed line will be renewed. This program also provides for the renewal of open-deck bridge timbers at various locations throughout the regional rail system, including the Lansdale, Doylestown, Norristown, and Ivy Ridge lines. SEPTA's vehicle fleet consists of 1,417 buses, 932 rail vehicles, and 455 paratransit vehicles. This program will replace vehicles and equipment that have exceeded their useful life. This program will provide for fleet expansion to meet increased ridership demand. Regional rail ridership has increased by 50% in the last 15 years, and the overall ridership is at its highest in history. SEPTA's bus fleet management plan provides for the acquisition of different size buses based on needs and route characteristics. The current bus fleet consists of a variety of buses ranging from 60-foot articulated and 40-foot buses for heavy use routes to 27-foot and 30-foot buses for suburban circulator and contracted service routes. SEPTA is currently receiving the delivery of 90 40-foot buses and 185 60-foot articulated buses, hybrid electric buses. These buses will be deployed throughout the SEPTA system, including routes that operate in Montgomery County. Funding is also programmed for 525 40-foot hybrid electric buses to be delivered between 2016 and 2020. As part of a 28-bus procurement program, the existing 30-foot buses that operate on the Horsham Breeze circulator will be replaced with new 30-foot buses in calendar year 2016. SEPTA routinely acquires new revenue vehicles for its paratransit and shared ride services to replace vehicles that have exceeded their useful life. New paratransit vehicles will be purchased for service in Montgomery County. To accommodate increased ridership and service capacity needs on the regional rail system, SEPTA will be acquiring new electric locomotives and multi-level rail cars. The new locomotives will replace existing equipment and provide expansion service opportunities with the new multi-level cars. The multi-level cars that we will be acquiring will fully comply with the Americans with Disability Act. This pie chart shows a different view of our capital budget. It is by program category, and it shows that the majority of funds are allocated to state of good repair projects. Due to the lack of funding over a long period of time, our capital program for the next several years will be focused on reducing our $5 billion backlog of state of good repair projects. This map of Montgomery County, which we also have as a display board, you could see it a little clearer, includes the locations of the SEPTA capital projects that I mentioned. They're color-coded by program type, so afterwards, if you want to take a look, you can see where they're actually located in the county. SEPTA's capital program is called Rebuilding SEPTA for the Future, and we created a microsite that you can access from the www.septa.org website, and you can click on any of the programs on the left side to get more information on specific projects that you might be interested in.